In case you're wondering, to take my 4 children to see the new Mario movie, it's only $96 on a matinee.
Look guys, the new Dodgers cup. Feels like a baseball, but it's not the price of a baseball. With tax, $82.30.
And you can see in the bag, there's like hardly any candy. Literally was $34.
All right, so today we got another installment of things that have just become worse and are no longer worth the price. These videos are always hectic because of the amount of examples that I've found, so I'm just giving you a warning ahead of time, but we got a ton of stuff to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below, but let's just jump right into it.
All right. I need to show y'all something. So let's look at this. So I'm at Golf Galaxy. All right, nice shirt. Now look, you got no problem. 75. Honestly, that's still a little expensive. Look at this. Please tell me, how much do you think that shirt is? How much do you think this shirt is? You really want to know? 140. That is an absolute joke for that shirt. Nike, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I still think the $75 price tag is a joke for that kind of shirt, and that's coming from somebody who's currently wearing one. I've told you guys many times before, I find these shirts at thrift stores and Goodwill for literally $5. And this particular one that I'm wearing still had tags on it when I bought it from Goodwill. The MSRP was $90, and I think in total I spent $4.29. You can't tell me that it's worth $75, $90, or $140 for these polyester shirts. Going over to the comments, that'll end up at TJ Maxx for around $14, it probably will, and anything over $30 for a polo is a travesty. And even though I just said I go over to Goodwill to get some decent deals on clothing, that does not mean that they're getting off scot-free.
We all know that Goodwill's prices have gotten absolutely insane, but this one tops the cake for me today. I was in Goodwill, I saw this bike, it's in really good condition, almost like new condition. They have a $200 price tag on it, and I was like, for shits and giggles, let's Google this up because I don't know this brand, and I want to see how much it is new. So I did. I Googled it, and guess what? It is $169 brand new off of Amazon, meaning that Goodwill is charging $30 more for technically a used bike that you could get delivered to your house.
So I know it really does depend on where you live in the country if thrift stores are worth it or not. At least where I live, the prices are still relatively cheap, but I have seen other places, especially California, where the prices are absolutely wild. And keeping on track with the secondhand market trying to find deals, when it comes to both yard sales and estate sales, it's gotten completely out of control as well. When a yard sale forgets it's not an antique store. $25 for a basket that looks like it's just from Target. You got glasses that are $36. I hope at least it's for the set and not each. That would be wild. When the yard sale turns out to be pallet junk, all of those people trying to buy the Amazon pallets and resell them, a majority of the stuff that you actually get is worthless, and I guess many people are trying to sell that stuff at yard sales now. When the estate sale has eBay printouts on things justifying their crazy prices. Who would ever buy it? You're going to estate sales to get deals, and I guess they just don't want to do that anymore. And that's exactly what this comment says. Nobody comes to an estate sale to pay what the item is worth. List it on eBay then. Exactly. Hope they had fun moving all of their unsold stuff again. I will say though, I have seen many examples of people blaming the companies that are running the estate sales, not the families. They'll price it ridiculously high, of course not many things will sell, and then they'll lowball the families for all the unsold items and resell it themselves. It's a really shady thing to do, but I guess it's pretty common now. And I know we've talked about this a couple times on my channel and it just ended, but I still can't get over how ridiculously overpriced everything was for the World Cup.
Some of it's cool, but they don't put the prices on because they don't want you to know how much you're spending until you get in line. Yeah, it's if you ask me. I don't like it.
Alongside the basic World Cup branded merchandise, there are Vancouver host city hats, bags, and t-shirts, but no prices on the tags. Customers have to ask a sales associate how much each item costs. Well, we asked, and hoodies are $100, hats are $56, and t-shirts are $55 to $65.
Who exactly is buying these FIFA World Cup host city jerseys? Because don't get me wrong, the design is fine. It's literally just the Vancouver host city poster on a jersey, and I like that. But the fancy packaging, the certificate of authenticity, the dedicated jersey hanger, the collector's book, $515? Like, this is the type of packaging I'd expect for a match-worn shirt or an autographed piece of memorabilia. Like an actual piece of memorabilia.
I personally don't even think the shirt looks nice. It looks like one of those shirts you'd see at a store that has all those fake items, the fake jerseys, but they still want you to pay $500 for it apparently. Another person saying these items will be at Ross and Marshall's for $29.99 once the World Cup is over. Vancouver 2010 stuff is worthless, this also. The design is horrible, what do you mean? I agree with that. Can't wait for all of this World Cup stuff to be 90% off when it's all over. And of course the biggest problem was the crazy high ticket sales. We've gone over it before, but we got a comment from you guys with a similar example. Concerts have priced themselves out of relevancy, way too many fees. And we're just going to see the exact same thing for the Olympics in 2028.
The lottery to buy tickets for the Olympics in Los Angeles, which will take place in 2028, opened up for locals in a pre-sale for the first time, and that was last Thursday. If you had registered ahead of time, you got on a list, and if they let you in, they gave you a window of time. Here's the time that you can go in and pick the tickets that you want. Thank you. You're recognizing LA locals, as you should. The experience, though, is quite different. The LA 28 committee had said that the tickets would start at $28, and maybe some did. I never saw them when I went in on Sunday. When I went into my allotted time to get tickets on Sunday, half of what I wanted to do wasn't even available. Men's basketball, all unavailable. Gymnastics, unavailable. I looked at some swimming. Okay, maybe go to some swimming events, thinking, okay, I could bust a few hundred out for those. Nope. Tickets started, I think it was between $800 and $1,100. Okay, opening ceremony, nope, nothing available then. But I could go to the closing ceremony for close to $5,000 a ticket.
Apparently surfing was $28. You're paying for a spot on a public beach. Still cost you $30. Remember when we registered for the pre-sale and we were asked to rank which events we wanted to attend? My guess is that they used that data to price out the tickets. They knew exactly what events we were willing to overpay for. That's probably exactly what happened. Another person saying everything was $1,100 and up, and sporting events in Los Angeles are priced for the rich. And that's a pretty good transition into the next clip, the LA Dodgers Cup.
Look guys, the new Dodgers Cup. Feels like a baseball, but it's not the price of a baseball. Let's see how much it is. Oh, $74.99. With tax, $82.30.
Who would ever pay for that? Somebody said better have refills for life then. It really should. And the creator responds, only for one day, today. I would be going up every single inning and it still wouldn't be worth the price. And that cost $2.45 to make. I bet it costs way less than that. But another one up on screen, the last sporting one for the day. Even the kids stuff now is pricing a lot of people out. I drove 200 miles paying $70 for tickets, paying $275 for a hotel, and then not being allowed to bring anything in and having to pay $16 for 2 bottles of water just to see your own kid wrestle. All of this honestly is just becoming such a joke.
In case you're wondering, to take my 4 children to see the new Mario movie, it's only $96 on a matinee.
Roller skating is $70 now, used to be $1.50. We paid $104 for the 6 of us. I wanted to cry. And that's with no snacks. To me, even $30 to see a kid's movie with my girls is simply outrageous. And she was talking about the second Mario movie that's come out in the past few years. We'll just move on to the next clip.
5th Toy Stories movie. 2nd Devil Wears Prada movie. Reboot of a kid's action toy. Moana live action reboot. That doesn't count. Hunger Games reboot. Superman spinoff. Minions reboot. And shout out to Steven Spielberg for an original movie.
So these movies that you're paying $100 to go see are almost all the same things we've already seen before. There was only one original movie coming out. Everything else was a safe bet. Nobody wants to take risks. Even though a lot of these reboots or sequels don't do as well. I know the live action Moana did not do well at all. I don't know about you guys, but all of these types of examples make me not excited for anything anymore.
This evening I visited Cold Stone Creamery for the first time since I was a kid because my wife and I wanted to have an inexpensive, nostalgic date night. I noticed it had gone downhill, so I looked it up out of curiosity, and turns out it had been acquired by private equity back in 2013 by a company known as Soroya. The prices seemed excessively high for a chain. It turns out in large cities, you can spend almost $10 for a single scoop of ice cream, and each mix-in can cost up to $2. This is even more absurd whenever you consider that the mix-in that I got, Oreo cookies, only gave me a single Oreo spread across 2 scoops of ice cream. When you add it up, a single scoop cone can cost nearly $20. At that rate, you're just better off going to Van Leeuwen or something else like that. These excessively high prices for a commoditized chain just don't really make sense, but to private equity, they seem to. Have you noticed other chains that have gone downhill lately?
Panera Bread is borderline inedible nowadays, and he responded with a video. Olive Garden, Applebee's, Chili's, Panera, again, it's not even enjoyable to go out anymore. This guy ended up turning this into a whole series, just going through example after example, the exact same thing. Companies get taken over by private equity, everything goes downhill, but the prices just keep increasing. We got another comment from you guys right here. Refusal to buy is always the consumer's strongest weapon. So I guess that means people are still buying.
So check this out. My daughter just went to a candy store and it was $4.95 per quarter pound. She got a bag, didn't really fill it up that much. But when she went to the register after filling up from multiple different canisters, containers, like we assumed, okay, it's probably going to be like $10, $12, probably about a half a pound in here. Once again, they didn't have a scale. So there was no way for us to measure it before we got to the counter. But this little bag, look, you can't even see any candy through this hole here. And you can see in the bag, there's like hardly any candy. Literally was $34.
So if you wanted to fill up that bag, that'd probably be what, 120 bucks? And at least again, in my own opinion, that's not even the good candy. I'm much more of a chocolate person than the gummy, sugary stuff. So this is even more absurd to me. That gummy shark alone was $5. Another person saying that's $3 worth of candy, creator responding exactly. I don't know how these places stay in business.
Check this one out. Let me learn you something. This one's crazy. This one's for the ladies mostly.
This is eyeline and filler cream at $145 for a half an ounce. You'd have to multiply this single unit by 256, and at $145 a container, this eyeline and filler cream is roughly $37,000 for a gallon of it. And there's less than a single fluid ounce in here, actually a half a fluid ounce, and it's heavy. That's how they rob you, I guess. But nobody's getting robbed by this stuff, right? I mean, what's the reasoning you'd want to buy something so expensive for such a little amount? It must be made out of unicorn dust or mermaid tails or something. I don't even know at this point. $37,000 for this? And this is an SK2, whatever that is. Can this company explain to me how this is worth $145 for a half of a fluid ounce?
That jar is better quality than that cream, I bet you're right. It's getting insane. Foundation is 60 to 120 bucks now. Another person just says consumerism. And it cost about 35 cents to make. Manufacturing here, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Makeup is basically all marketing. And none of it really works, to be honest. Another person saying 98% profit, it's probably closer to 99. But again, even though I don't think it's worth the money, basically every celebrity has their own line of makeup now, so I guess it still has to be working out pretty well.
It's a lot worse than we actually thought is what we're finding out. If you simply back in and you break your tail light and you find that tail light somewhere else and you buy it and you replace it yourself, there's a reader in the tail light that reads to the computer. The car will know that tail light came from somewhere else and is not coded to your car. At that point, it will shut your car down. You can't drive it. You'll have to get a tow truck. So there's a fee right there. It'll take you to the nearest dealer. At the dealer, you're going to have to pay a diagnostic fee. So now you're paying again. The third time you pay is just simply for the mechanic to plug his computer into your car and then put a password in that okays the light that you already paid for and installed yourself, just to give you the ability to drive your car back.
Now we go into a lot more depth on these types of topics on my main channel, but this is really getting ridiculous now. You're paying sky-high prices for these brand new cars, and you have to pay subscriptions on top of it to remote start your car or to have heated and cooled seats, and you can't even fix it yourself now. The vehicle will shut down, so you have to go over to the dealership and spend a ludicrous amount of money. I feel like this is one of the biggest industries that is just getting worse and worse. So maybe take this to heart and you don't want to get a new car. You're going to go for the classics. But I hate to inform you that the prices there are insane as well.
So that whole These kids aren't into the classics anymore, that whole TikTok thing. There was a 68 Chevelle 396 on one of them for $65,000. And the comments in this video were, oh, that's not bad. That's not a bad price for that car. That's actually pretty good. Bunch of comments. Let's get this straight. This is a 6-decade-old car. That is a 60-year-old car. And I'm going to bring up a number, a statistic that should stick with you when you think, oh, that's not a bad price for that. From 1964 to 1972, there were 2.4 million Chevelles made. So you are going to sit there and think that it's okay to pay $65,000 for a car that was made 2.4 million times, that these people bought 40 years ago for less than $800, let them sit and rot, and now they have a couple good examples and a couple of resto mods that they think that are Mika and Barrett Jackson prices, and you think that's okay?
I mean, if you want to look for yourself, there are YouTube channels that have made entire series just going through Facebook Marketplace, listing after listing with absurd prices like that. I mean, for $65,000, it's the same price as a new muscle car. What kid is going to spend that kind of money on a 60-year-old car? Going over to the comments, and they were $3,500 brand new. Barrett Jackson has ruined the classic car community. Everybody thinks that they could get top dollar. Classic JDM is cooked too. Of course, the Mark IV Supers and R34s are going to be really expensive, but even a lot of the other classic JDM is just way too much.
You know, I thought Vegas was hemorrhaging money before, but I think they're about to take it to a whole new level. Several Las Vegas strip resorts will begin charging hotel guests $28 per night as a fee for in-room air conditioning this summer. Yeah, they're calling this thing, it's the new climate comfort fee. It will provide the guests with a 24/7 access to state-of-the-art HVAC system. Oh man, these hotels, I'll tell you what, like, tourism has gone down to almost all-time lows in Vegas, and now they're trying to add in new fees?
They're just trying to squeeze out as much money as they possibly can from anybody still going. So you're actually getting a worse deal in 2026, even though people aren't showing up. You would think the exact opposite would be happening. But I guess this is the way the world works now. We got a couple more up on screen. I'm just shoehorning in. I told you we were jumping from topic to topic. I didn't know where to put this one, but it says, client, can you break down the price for me? Yes, it's $2,200 for us to set up your dream proposal and $0 for us not to. So this woman just set up a whole bunch of roses and a mat down in a public place and wanted $2,200 for it. And as you could see by her turning off the comment section, you already knew the reaction. Absolutely ludicrous pricing. And the last one for the day, the dermatologist is such a scam. Because what do you mean it cost me $100 for her to tell me to go to Target? And all it is just circling a whole bunch of moisturizers you could get at the store. I feel like if you're at the point of having to go to a specific doctor for your skin, you've tried virtually everything you could get in store. So them charging you to just go back to that same store and buy more stuff is just pretty disrespectful to me. Is she recommending Neutrogena? I'm already out. Another person saying, oops, she's brand pushing. That's not quite promising. I went to the doctor for bad eczema and she's like, have you tried Aveeno? Of course you would have. Another person saying they get paid by the companies to circle their products. And another saying it's all part of the process. They can't give you the aggressive treatments if you don't at least try the less aggressive, more accessible ones first. But again, wouldn't you have already tried that before you went to a specific doctor for your skin? Sounds like an easy way to collect a copay to me, and you just end up completely wasting your time and money. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.